Good morning, guys. Welcome to a tour of our home. So first, let's get some context on where this truck started. It originally is a 1997 F-350 factory four-wheel drive fire rescue ambulance. When we first got it, it had the paint and there was somewhat of a build in the back, but we didn't really like it that much. You also couldn't stand in it if you know anything about ambulances. So we cut the roof off of it. Then we built C-channels for the walls to then build the walls up about 1.5 feet, put the roof back on it, and then built the cab over that's behind me right now. So we'll start on the outside, and I'll talk about that, and then we'll move on to the inside, and my wife Fab, she'll talk about most of the inside. Up front, whenever we built the cab over, I thought it'd be a really good way to put in some recessed LED lighting. So we put all 4 of these LEDs from Amazon special. And then also these chicken lights, because I kind of had an idea in my head of what I wanted it to look like at night driving, and so put those in. Those are wired into the factory running lights. If you move over, we chose an ambulance for multiple reasons, and we'll get into that a little bit later. However, one of the big things is they have really good storage boxes on the outside already built. So in this first one, we actually cut in half on the inside, so there's a closet on the inside and the outside with a wall that's dividing the two of them. So this one is stock full of snowboard boots. There's skis in there somewhere, some ski boots, a couple bags, and then our rug for on the outside here. And all of these latches are lockable, which makes it super nice and easy for us to store things. So this is actually one of the first things that I did to the truck whenever we got it. Me and my granddad, I kind of had this idea for a biometric fingerprint, like digital lock for the Habitat. So this is actually from Amazon. I'll try and find a link to put it down below in the description. Full transparency, if you do use any of our links for any of the stuff that I have here, we do get somewhat of a kickback from that. I'm supposed to let you guys know that. So now we have a fingerprint and keypad entry into the truck, and you could also use an app to open it up like that. In this box, I call this the garage. It's not my dream garage by any means. It's kind of small, but we have 2 propane tanks that are in there that are then plumbed all the way into the inside to run different appliances, and then a plethora of tools, spare parts, backup diesel heater parts, a whole bunch of stuff. It's stock full of things, so I won't open it because I don't want anything to fall out. This is our outside trash can. So most houses have like a trash can that you take your bags to the outside. We didn't have that, obviously, and I don't want a bunch of trash on the inside, and I didn't want a huge trash can on the inside. So we have a small bathroom sized trash can. When that gets full, we take it outside to here, buckle it up, go to a gas station, dump it. Super easy. I put this ladder on. These are actually gate handles. So like for an outdoor gate, it's just handles, and they're bolted and secured all the way up to the top, and then there's one that's on the roof, so it makes it super easy to get up onto the roof where the rack storage is at, solar panels, stuff like that. So this box, from the very beginning, I had a big idea for this box, and it's actually underneath one of the benches that are on the inside. So inside here is all of our plumbing and water storage, and it makes it super easy because you can just open up this, bring your hose into here and fill the water tank up, and there's no external like water fillers or anything that anybody can tamper with. It's all locked away. Nobody would even know that it's in here. This sticker was the first sticker that I got for the truck. It's from Amazon. I'll put a link down to it as well. A lot of people might be interested in that. I'm anti-sprinter. I like trucks, so we bought an ambulance. So from the factory, this truck comes with 2 fuel fill-ups, or 2 fuel tanks with a fuel selector valve switch inside of the cab. So we have 2 tanks that are 17 gallons each, gives us about 34 gallons. We get about 400 miles for 1 full fill-up. So it's not horrible. it's not the best. In the future, I kind of want to do some sort of long range tank that'll hopefully double the range that we get now. In this box, this is kind of where the brains and everything is powered that's inside of the actual habitat. We started with a normal Renogy, just battery, charge controller, inverter, solar panel hookups. Didn't like that at all. The interface was really horrible. Nothing necessarily particularly against Renogy, but this ended up working out much better for us. So we ended up with a Bluetti AC240 with an expansion battery. It gives us about 310 amp hours of lithium power. Gives us the ability to charge off the truck whenever we're driving. And it has solar hookup, so we have solar panels up top that then charge this. Cool thing about this is that it's actually portable. It's a pain to move, but it is portable. So sometimes if we're at a laundromat, we're low on power, there's not a lot of sun, we can take this out, bring it inside, charge it via a normal household outlet, bring it back into here, and it plugs straight into our fuse box with a 12 volt 30 amp aviation plug outlet that goes right into our fuse box, powers everything inside as normal. This is another one of our outside storage boxes. It's full of a lot of stuff, you can see. There's actually a lot of good stuff that's in here though. So we've got some hooks for some bags, one of our hiking packs, this is a fishing pack, fly rod. The tank for our diesel heater actually is out here on this side by design. That way when I'm at a fuel station, I can fill up those tanks and then I can come right over here and put diesel in this tank as well. So it makes it super convenient and easy. We also keep our diesel 911 and anti-gel stuff in here too. It's currently like 10 degrees outside. So there's also a couple different fuel tanks in there. We do have a generator just as backup. When we were staying at J Peak up in Vermont, it was literally like negative 20 degrees and we'd have plans to put in some battery heaters, but that is not here yet. So battery does go a little bit quicker and there's no sun there. So a backup generator is really helpful. I already know a lot of you guys are gonna ask about tires. This being a dually, it was a real trick to actually figure out what tires I'd be able to fit on here that were actually practical. Originally I wanted to do super singles. That's really expensive, so we're not doing that yet. But these are Falcon Wild Peak. These are the MTs. I'm pretty sure it's still the MT-01s. The size of them is a 255, 85, 16. So it comes out to be just over 33 inches tall. I'm pretty sure it's like right under 11 inches wide. So that way you're able to run dualies without a spacer in between the two tires, because I didn't want to do that.
So now that Bryson showed you the outside of the truck, let's take a look inside. So whenever you come in, you can see our gallery wall off to the side. Whenever we were moving in, I told Bryson I wanted it to still look like a home and not just a camper or a rig or whatever. So we made it a point to put up some pictures. Everything stays up with Velcro, and so far we haven't had any problems, so hopefully it stays like that. And then down here we also have our switches for our lights. We have some just regular ceiling lights and then lights that go under all of the cabinets. Then we also have our diesel heater control unit. And so the diesel heater is down here underneath the cabinets, and then it has an exhaust that goes out in between the cab and the bed of the truck. We also got some hooks for just random stuff like headlamps you always need, mittens, gloves, whatever. And then we have our shoe box that has been very, very helpful. We store all of our shoes in there. So over here we have a couple different things. We have our closet, which fits most of our clothes, not very many clothes, but it's all good. And then on this side we have our pantry. Holds way too many things. It's really messy. And then we also have a pass-through that goes to the cab. So in case of an emergency, we can probably fit through, but we really have to squeeze and move our shoulders. So it's there in case of an emergency, but we don't really use it that much. We've also got a vanity, just to be able to look at ourselves in the mirror and have our toiletries and stuff, and it's been super helpful. Whenever we were picking out a fridge and picking out appliances, obviously we wanted to get 12-volt stuff or things that are powered by propane, and we were able to find this fridge, which is actually pretty big, but it's an RV fridge that it's 3 ways, so it can be 12-volt, propane, household power. So it's actually pretty big. We typically just run it off of propane, and it has a little bit of 12 volts to run the light, but it is a full freezer and fridge, so super nice. And then down here underneath the bench we have our laundry baskets. They're not super big, so whenever they're full we gotta go to the laundromat. And then, like I said, the diesel heater is in this corner, and then it's ducted through here, and then this goes through the chase, and it comes out over by the table as well, so I'll show you that. Alright, so now we have the rest of the house. So this is kind of our kitchen area. We have our pop-up countertop, which has been, if we didn't have this, we wouldn't have counter space, so it's super nice. So all of this cabinetry, basically anything that you see that is made of poplar, which is all of this light colored wood, Bryson and his dad were able to make it in-house, and fully personalized all the cabinetry, which was super kind of his dad. Thanks, Mike. And then also it came out really good. We have all of these knobs that we picked out ourselves, and we just put burlap just to save some wood, but then also just to make it a little bit more fun, I guess. So all of this wood is from them, or all of the cabinetry work was made in-house. This countertop was made in-house, and then we've got our 3-burner stove. We even have a full oven, so we bake some cookies and make waffles and stuff in there. And it's been super nice to have just the 3 burners and not just, you know, a tiny little induction top or anything like that. Then we've also got a pretty deep sink with our nice hose faucet. And then we have our fruit hammock, and then all these things. Most of the stuff stays out whenever we drive, except for the kettle, it's gonna fly away. But everything is stayed out, it can stay out, and it's Velcro down, so we really don't run into a problem with stuff moving around too much. We've got our sink, we have just this is where we store all of our cast irons, which Bryson's a big cast iron fanatic, so we'll talk about all that. And then we also just have more storage down here, and then this is where we keep all of our plates and cups and Tupperware and all that kind of good stuff. So aside from all the poplar, most of the wood that you see in here is actually repurposed from the original build that Bryson mentioned earlier. So the build was fine, but it wasn't really, like, 1, to our standards, and then 2, it wasn't the most weight conscious. And so we had this, how thick is it?
3/4.
We had 3/4 inch
cedar.
We had 3/4 inch cedar that was actually on the ceiling, which, if you know anything about that, that's incredibly heavy, and just a little bit silly. And so Bryson was able to swap it out for just plywood that we stained and put on as a ceiling, and then we were actually able to use that same cedar and use it as our floor, and we were able to stain that and coat it and everything, and so it's worked out pretty nice. So hardwood floors in the truck, which is kind of fancy, but it works out really nice. So back here is our dining area. So this table actually is meant to be able to go down and turn into kind of like a guest bed. It's pretty small, but we have the space if we have any visitors. All 3 of these windows were actually installed after the build. This used to be the double doors in the back of the ambulance, and those doors were cut out or drilled out, and then we were able to weld basically a wall back here, and then Bryson was able to cut out the space for this window. And then these 2 side windows are our favorite because they have blinds, so we don't have to worry about putting additional blinds or anything whenever it's nighttime. And we also have a bug screen, so we haven't been camping, or we haven't been in the rig in the summertime wherever there are a lot of bugs yet, so we're looking forward to be able to use those whenever it's warm outside or not 10 degrees. But then these windows also have a couple different settings, so they open up. So over here we have more of our storage. Obviously storage is a big thing. So all of these overhead cabinets are essentially just storage for a bunch of different stuff. We also got our bookshelf over here. And yes, things fly out of it all the time, so we always have a stray book. And then like Bryson said, both of these benches in the back have a little bit of storage. They're kind of a little bit over the wheel well, but then also not. So they're a little bit not a regular shape, but we are able to store a couple different things under here, and then also it's easy access to where the plumbing is, so if anything were to go wrong, it's easy to access it through there. And then that one we are able to have a little bit of storage above, kind of like the garage box, so that's super nice for random things that are weird sizes and can't really fit anywhere else. So now for the question that I think we get more often than anything else, is regarding a shower and then also a toilet. So we do have a full shower in here, and it's kind of like a wet bath, but we have a cassette toilet that obviously you can take in or out if you are going to have to use the shower. To be very honest, it's been very cold and we don't have unlimited water, so the shower doesn't get used very, very frequently, but we're able to go and shower at Planet Fitness or campgrounds or fill in the blank. But then the cassette toilet actually is pretty nice because we can just empty it at pit toilets or at dump stations, and it's a little bit more convenient than having like a full-on black water tank, just because it makes it a little bit easier.
So obviously no project is actually ever finished, so there's a lot of things that we still want to do, one of which being bumpers. So I'd love to be able to put a nice front bumper on here, whether that's ARB, Ranchan, doesn't really matter, something other than this plastic and metal piece right here. So we left this huge empty space right here on purpose because we knew that we would eventually have a rear bumper that would have a dual tire carrier with swing outs on the back. So we want to be able to have 2 tires here, 2 full-size spares that also swing out, maybe some drop down tables and whatnot. We also already have a hitch receiver back here, but that's going to need to be extended out to be able to put a motorcycle or some bikes on the back of it behind the tires back here. So this is a problem that we ran into that we didn't know that we would end up having. We need better snowboard and ski storage. Currently they're inside this box here, and it's not the most organized or easy to get to. So we have kind of this empty space here, and my hope in the next couple weeks whenever we're at home is to somehow build a sliding out drawer that fits right in here, that then slides out here. You put a snowboard and the skis in, it slides back in, and on the other side there's a drop down table that we can use for our normal everyday outside living room use. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this kind of video and you want to see more of it, don't forget to subscribe so you can give us some motivation to make some more on a regular basis. Thanks for watching.